Okay, everybody's got a fucking podcast. I mean, we have a podcast, so obviously anyone can do it.
Wait, this is a podcast?
Are you recording right now?
Technical difficulties.
No, you don't have to say anything. I'm going to edit it out.
Technical difficulties.
Okay.
I put mayonnaise on a pickle.
It was not the best, but it might have been the worst.
Do my feet? I mean, my feet stink, right?
Yeah. Hello. Welcome to Content Crisis. Den of Thieves version.
Heyo!
Dakota, this is your month. We are first Sunday of November, and this was your choice. Okay, I just want to make sure that was not your knee I was bumping against. It was the chair, and now I'm fine with leaving my knee there.
It's my penis.
Oh, well, that is an interesting location for your penis. However, if you could check my angle real quick and just make sure I am in frame. Okay, good. I know you are in frame because I checked it, and you are
grabbing the
looking
bottle of
for
water.
water.
I forgot to grab the bottle of water.
And so my question to you was, what made you pick this movie? Does it rank high on your favorite films? Yada yada, that sort of thing. Yeah.
So overall, I liked the movie.
Sure.
That's why I picked it.
Duh. Yeah.
If context clues, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it ranks up there just because I think it's an overall, it's a really good plot, and the ending was a nice twist that, you know, first time watching it, you really wouldn't have guessed that was going to happen.
Sure.
Just kept me. It was one of the movies that would keep me engaged the whole movie. Like I can sit there, and I'm engaged, like I'm actively watching it. You know, it's not many movies keep me actively engaged with the whole movie. You know, a lot of movies have
especially a 2-hour movie like
Yeah.
this, where you're usually like, it was so long. It's like, okay, it was 2 hours, man. This is typical.
Well, because
movie.
like a lot of movies will have like the moments of like slow or dead spots in the movie where at least I just lose like paying attention. So then it makes it trying to get through them like dead spots makes the movie makes it feel a lot longer than what it actually is. So like, you know, 20 minutes of like dead just like dead plot.
Yeah.
Makes, you know, feels like an hour when you're just like, Jesus Christ, is anything going to fucking happen? And you're just like, why is this movie so long? And you look and it's only been 5 minutes and you're like, God damn it. It's just, so yeah, it kept me engaged the whole time.
Yeah.
So it does rank up there on my favorite movies list.
Word. Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought a little bit that they were trying to be The Town. I don't know if you've seen The Town. It's also a heist movie. The main thing that gave me that idea was the beginning, the text on screen, bank robbery, capital of the world, yada yada. There's a similar thing in the opening of The Town where they do that, and then obviously it's a movie about heists and there's guns and whatnot. It's not quite so combat based because a lot of the main conflict scenes in this movie, the opening scene and then the just the end where they're running through all the traffic and fight, you know, it's very much like a military kind of operation almost. It's not quite that heavy on that side of things, but it is hardcore heist. And so that was my opening comment of like, you know, text on screen, bank robbery, capital world, 2,400 times, blah, blah, you know, all the stats. And I was like, oh, this movie wants to be The Town so bad. Because The Town, I think, was 2010, something like that. I'm probably wrong on that. And I know this was, 2018?
2018.
Yeah. That was my first thought. And then my first note of me being a cunt was just, and I looked it up. Somebody had already actually done the back math on it because I was like, those numbers don't add up. What the fuck? So 2,400 times. Okay, so what the intro says is 2,400 times a year, 44 times a week, 9 times a day, every 48 minutes, a bank is robbed here, which seems excessive. I feel like that's a real pandemic of bank robberies.
Yeah, like it's happening a lot.
Like, wouldn't we hear that LA is just like the streets of LA?
Just like no bank left untouched. It's like that's almost how often
okay, first of all, there'd be no banks in LA because everybody had stopped working at them. They're like, well, how are we supposed to hold all this money? You got to go out of state, you know, to make a deposit.
Well, that's like right there. That's like numbers, like how the numbers can apply to like current day of how quickly Kias and Hyundais are being stolen.
Right. Yeah.
Every 48 seconds, another Kia is stolen.
I don't think it's possible. So the back math on it is okay. So if you do the lowest stat, or if you do the last stat, or if you do the first stat,
Okay.
you do the back math on it. 2,400 times a year equals 46 times a week, 6 times a day, and every 4 hours. Every 240 minutes. So that's that math.
Yeah.
And then the math on if it was every 48 minutes, which is the final stat of that statement in the beginning. Every 48 minutes equals 30 times a day, 210 times a week, and 10,920 times a year. So that's weird. Yeah, so... Yeah, that.
It's a lot of bank robberies.
There's a lot of bank robberies, so they definitely just threw some numbers out there.
He was like, let's make it seem like a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And it's kind of one of those things. Fargo is the prime example of this, where I think the beginning of the Fargo show and the Fargo movie, they've always said, I'm trying to remember the exact way they say it, but this is a true story. The names have been changed to protect for the respect of the survivors, or something to that effect. And like, they're not true stories. I mean, there's like bits and pieces of stuff that's been like pulled from the news at times, but these aren't true stories. There wasn't. Yeah.
What's like
So you're kind of just taking artistic liberty at a
like
point.
Paranormal Activity.
Sure. Exactly.
It gave that disclaimer at the beginning that this is based on a true story. The names and likelinesses have been changed, and the story's been changed.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's Paranormal Activity is just based on it's a home security camera footage. And you just see a water bottle just, and that's what it's based on.
We should make a movie about it.
Now you got shit flying in the air. You're like, hey, we had to give it a little Hollywood spice.
It's like this is a Mitch Hedberg joke. It's different terminology, obviously, but he goes, it's something to the effect of, he's like, I understand when someone says based on a true story. He goes, but then when I see something that says inspired by a true story, and it's like, well, that's weird. And it's like, is it true that that whale did that thing? Well, whatever fucking example he uses, right? And it's like, yeah, and that inspired me to write this story about a gorilla. It's like completely unrelated. I butchered the joke because I can't remember the details of it. So we'll move on. This movie was good though. I like the little twist at the end. I like that in a plot. Get you going one way, and I mean it takes some vigilance in the writing, and the Fed taking old money out of currency or out of circulation. That checks out.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking into that a little bit. So, yeah, I dig it.
First time I'd watched a movie a couple years ago, and they cut to the scene where they're at the donut shop.
Yeah.
Right after the massacre, or right after the shooting, and I was like, they fucking cut to the one of the main antagonists, Nick.
Yeah.
And I was like, of course it's fucking Gerard Butler. I was like, of course.
Yeah.
I was like, how did I know that? He fucking saving the goddamn president and shit. Now he's out here.
Dude, I've not seen any of those blank has fallen movies, but they all just, I mean, I'm sure they're like legit action movies.
The first one is good.
Yeah.
The second one it's all right, and then like it just starts going like the third one. It was
Yeah.
I like the first one.
Like anything, you go on too long, you just okay.
Fast and Furious.
Yeah, mainly looking at Fast and Furious on that one.
Looking at you, Fast and Furious.
Yeah. I don't know. As far as the Bourne movies go, I mean, those have gone on a while. They're okay. I feel like you gotta temper your expectations going into stuff sometimes. You know, you just kind of go, okay, the goal of this movie is to have shit blow up, people get shot, people get their asses kicked,
and go into space.
Sure. So, you know, you kind of temper your expectations, and then if they go too far, like, say, space.
How do you go from fucking street racing to fucking going into goddamn space?
Yeah,
And flying cars or dropping cars out of fucking airplanes?
See, I haven't watched it for that reason. I'm going to. I will watch it, but I'm just kind of...
The tumor in my brain gets a little bit bigger every time I think about it. A little bit. It grows by a centimeter every single time I think about them going into fucking space on Fast and Furious.
Yeah. It's more about this tumor in your brain. What's up with that? Yeah. So, kind of right off the rip, I've kind of outlined the plot in a couple paragraphs here, and I have kind of intermixed my notes in. So, I'll kind of read a paragraph of plot-ish, more of like summarizing parts of the plot, and then I kind of sprinkled my notes in there.
A little bit sprinkled notes.
Just trying to make this a little less choppy, because a lot of the time it's me going, us finishing off a comment on something and then going, oh, okay, what's the next note? Just a little less choppy kind of deal, hopefully. But yeah, so basically right off the rip, you're in the middle of a gunfight. They steal an empty armored truck. One of their dudes dies. They figure out that Special Crimes is on the case. Gerard Butler equals Big Nick. He's a bit of a hungover mess, gets yelled at for throwing a donut into the hot zone. They're also eating donuts that were dropped by murder victims in the crime scene. So that's also fun. The guy literally was like, oh yeah, I think one of those ones doesn't have blood on it. Just, I don't know, eating crime scene donuts. A dude got shot and dropped those donuts. Like, oh, can I have one?
Just fucking eating anything out of a fucking crime scene. Like, oh, it looks tasty.
Yeah. It's like if, the
It's
dude's intestines were on the ground and you just...
It's been sitting outside since it was dark and it's bright outside now, so it's probably still good. No bugs or blood or guts or glass or gunpowder or...
sun-dried pink icing donuts, Those are my favorite.
They're natural. Sun-dried.
Yeah.
Healthier for you than light-dried.
Right. And we figure out pretty much right away that he's got this issue with...
The
was
FBI.
he? Yeah, an FBI guy. Lobbin' Bob.
Kind of seems like that they might
and
have...
of course, Bob's a vegan.
It kind of seems like the banter between them, that they might have been, maybe at one point they might have been partners or...
Right.
Might have worked in the same,
And they never go deeper,
units,
so you never really know. But
they
whatever
have
reason,
that, he kind of has that, well, you think you're better than me because you went to the FBI and I'm still here with the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department.
And then the FBI guy is like, well, you think you're better than me because you stayed behind. You're still doing work on the ground where, I'm bettered myself. Like that.
He's like, oh, you're a vegan.
Yeah.
You're a vegetarian.
It's vegan. It's like, oh, geez. One of these guys, huh? I don't think there's anything wrong with being vegan, but when you're like, it's vegan, okay, just relax. Okay, if you've made that lifestyle choice, quit yelling at everybody that says you're a vegetarian, okay? Like, if you're friends with somebody and they say vegetarian, like, okay, bro, hey, just on the low, hey, man, I'm a vegan. Not a vegetarian.
Starts with a V.
Just,
Similar. Not really.
Just so you know.
Yeah, so there might have been, they might have worked together. That's just what I picked up on that they were probably, partners at some point, and he got the big promotion to go somewhere, work in the FBI, making tons of money, and...
Yeah. Yeah, there's that, and, so the buddy that dies in the... Marcus, that died at the first crime scene. We learn a little bit about him, because... the cops are talking about who could this be and all this shit. Why would they steal an armored truck? Empty armored truck, rather. And so, where's that Donnie kid work? And so then Ziggy's Hofbrau, they go, he made it sound like they were all going into the bar to talk to this guy, and then it's just Nick at the bar.
Kind of awkwardly flirting with them, saying he'd
tell him Donnie he'd fuck him. Yeah.
Kidding.
Yeah, he just kind of looked at him like...
So, like,
Yeah.
what's your thought on? You can tell that the group of people that their intent is not to hurt anyone,
Civilians, yes.
not to hurt civilians. Obviously, they don't want. Like that's the reason why they initially they didn't want to kill the people who drove the armored truck.
Yeah.
Until one of them went for their gun, and then it was like, okay, well now everyone has to die.
Jigs up. Yeah.
And then, like, you know, when they made the comment that the donut shop guy watched the whole thing, they looked him in the eye and then just fucking left him there, didn't do anything to him. So they obviously, they're not there, they strictly just, they want to get money.
Yeah.
They don't want to kill people, they don't want to kill civilians. So, like, kind of makes them seem a little bit better in some way versus, like, you know, some crime movies are like, I'll just fucking kill civilians too to get what I want.
Yeah.
Anyone who sees it, I'm killing them. So it kind of makes them look a little bit better in a different light because they're like, okay, you know, I don't want to kill civilians.
Yeah.
They don't have anything to do with this. I just want the money. We're not here for you. We're here for the money.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't have any problem with that. As far as...
That's how I do it.
Yeah.
I don't have to
if
kill
was-
innocent people. They're not any part. I just want the money. Give me the money.
If I was less scared of things like prison...
Getting raped in jail.
Yeah, because I hear some of those dudes have gas pumps, as dude said. In this movie. If I was less scared of the repercussions of it and that kind of thing, I mean, fuck. I mean, it seems like an easier life than going to work every goddamn day.
Absolutely. Especially, like, what was it, with full dollar amount that they collected out of that?
So it was $30 million.
30 mil.
They say, you know, it's roughly $30 million that gets taken out of circulation and shredded every day, which is kind of a crazy thing to think about. Which I don't know if those numbers were on. I couldn't really find a.
They probably they probably don't release the numbers out.
Yeah, they don't want. Well, and that they probably. There's probably certain movies that, you know, different establishments get angry at, where they just go like, "Can you shut the fuck up?" It's like, now every jackass with a gun in a fast car is going to be trying to break down this door.
Or like them White House movies when it shows how to break into the White House.
Yeah,
Well,
like, can you not?
like that's not even how that works. You're gonna get people killed.
Yeah,
And as soon as they hop over that fence, they're dying.
yeah,
Like these movies, they hop over the fence, they run all the way to the fucking front door. Meanwhile, in reality, hop over the fence and fucking Secret Service on the roof is like, pew, pew,
yeah,
and you're done.
yeah.
All you hear is just a couple of distinct pew, pew, from different directions. You just, they're done.
It's like, oh, somebody's on the lawn. Well, somebody was on the lawn.
Yeah, somebody's body's on the lawn.
Yeah.
Brains are on the lawn too.
So we find Donnie working there. There's dudes from Merriman's crew. They don't tip him. Nick shows up, asks some questions. So they'll catch you later. He's like, yeah, see, I'm looking forward to it. Shows up later. How lucky is Nick for that plan that Donnie's rolling his window down anyway? You know, because otherwise, I don't know. I guess maybe he's coming up and breaking the window, but I feel like Donnie's got a little more of a chance to just kind of throw it in reverse and
like,
get out of
react
there.
to being.
So he kind of got lucky on the windows down thing. But
That was one hell of a hit too.
yeah, yeah. I mean that's got to be precise too. You're reaching into a car window with a punch. I mean, because you know you could nick the seat, and you know that kind of takes
That and
power
also he's
away.
rolling down the window, so he's kind of you're kind of going like that. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
it
a little
coulda-
momentum to manually roll down the window.
Could have went south a couple different
Could have
ways.
missed. Could hit the shoulder. Could hit his shoulder.
Yeah. Could have just straight up punched the top of the car as you're trying to go in. I mean, he's sitting there having a couple, you know. Coordination might be off a little.
Donnie could have quick reaction time. Just been like,
Yeah, Donnie, you don't know shit about Donnie. Donnie could have,
he could have.
yeah.
He could have had a gun. And,
You don't know nothing about Donnie. He might be a ninja. But, yeah, so Donnie's working there, gets kidnapped, asks why his pants are wet, gets laughed at. Obviously, it would suck getting tased. Reveals a little more on Merriman.
also, they make little wiener jokes about him.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird.
That,
I don't like. Listen, if I'm knocked out and I've been tased or whatever, I feel like my dick's not gonna be there to like be showing. Like it's just gonna be there. It's gonna be like dead, like how I am.
well, also, like, I guess it's probably the telltale sign of the dude with the small dick. But I feel like at a certain point, it's just like, hey man, you think if the guy had a choice, he'd be walking around with the small dick? It's like, no. Any dude given the choice is going to have this, like, 3-foot, anaconda in their pants. If every dude had a choice of their dick, it would show. You'd be walking down the street and, like, every guy has 3 legs. Just because that's what dudes are like. So it's just kind of like shitty to be making fun of dudes that have small dicks. Now again, telltale sign of the guy that has the small dick saying all that.
We make fun of you, so
but
it's okay. It's all love.
It's all good. So he has to reveal some more about Merriman because they're just straight up choking him out. That's the whole thing. Kind of choked him probably within an inch of his life there. I mean, he was spitting and all that stuff, and yeah.
You almost threw up as soon as he got released.
Yeah, it was the whole thing.
I think that might have been a little bit too much.
Too much.
You can kind of tell by the faces of the other guys in there. They're kind of looking like...
Yeah. All the other dudes seem uncomfortable with Nick, like 100% of the time. Like, all his cop friends seem uncomfortable with him 100% of the time. It's kind of like when we go out in public with Harley sometimes and we're just like, oh man, can you just... And then you just kind of put your head down until it's over. You're just like, okay.
You're like, oh my God, please stop.
Harley's a blast, but he does things sometimes. He's just like, oh God, no, you're doing that, huh? Okay.
His limit is higher than our limit.
The most prime example recently is just the whole... He was convinced the dude at the ice cream place was being shitty to him about... Because Harley just asked, They had some goofy name for it, for the dog ice creams. I don't remember what the name was, but it was like a...
Doggy ball or something.
Well, it didn't have the word dog in it, so it's like the way you can know, like, okay, so, like... It wasn't 100% obvious that it was a dog thing, other than the
picture.
Picture with the dog in it, but, like, whatever.
Maybe the dog... Maybe he thought maybe it was ice cream made by dog milk.
Whatever. Whatever you need. But it was just, he was like, what's a blah, blah, blah. And he's, the guy. Guy's like, it's dog ice cream. It's for your dogs. He's like, you want one? And then, like, Harley, like, really hated how the guy said it. Like, as if the guy shouldn't have asked it. He's like, no, I don't want one. He's like, I'm just asking what it is. And it's like, Harley... Why would you be asking about it if you don't... Like, the guy's just... He's doing his job, Maybe you got a dog you're going home to and he wants to sell you a dog ice cream. Just relax. Like, you're going to punch this guy. And he's just saying... He's just doing his job.
Why would he ask me? Do I look like someone who wants that? And I'm like,
you have a dog.
Harley, just...
Like, he just... I'm just trying to complete the transaction. Just go over there.
Harley, like, I just ordered. Like, we waited in line. I
gotta look this guy in the eye for another minute here while he makes the thing, and then comes back, and I gotta pay for it. Let's not, have this guy type $30 in for my $8 ice cream.
Now I gotta fucking tip well to make up for you.
Yeah, I gotta give him a tip because you're not buying anything, and who shows up to buy ice cream, asks questions, and then doesn't buy anything? I mean, come on.
And gets offended because you answered the questions that you asked.
Yeah.
What kind of ice cream you got? I got chocolate, vanilla, cookies and cream. You want any of that? Do I look like I want ice cream?
The fuck I want that?
Dude, I'm lactose intolerant. For real? Really? But you asked me. Yeah, I'm lactose intolerant. Come on, man. Really?
Yeah.
Really? What kind of question is that? Are you stupid? I think that's what Harley wanted. Are you stupid?
If he was there alone, he might have. Oh, I love you, Harley. Okay.
Oh, man.
Just a funny story. It was podcast worthy. Nick arrives to a not-so-happy home. Apparently he... I love movie texts sometimes just because they're, like, cheesy as fuck. The text to his wife was, like... I guess it was supposed to be... He was texting a buddy or whatever, and it was like, dude, you had a bitch that was so hot. And it was just... I don't know. I'm not that guy that's out at the strip clubs and whatever, but I don't know how those conversations work.
I got a story for you.
Great.
It's going to name remain anonymous. Not that anyone involved in this ever listens to this podcast.
Your name's anonymous. Got it.
So
a guy
I used-
that kind of looked like me was at a strip club. Okay, go on.
I used
Sorry.
to work with this guy, and he was cheating on his wife.
Oh boy.
And he rode a bike, and
A bicycle or a motorcycle?
Motorcycle.
Okay.
and so he, one day he had recorded him and the girl he was cheating on him with. Like I guess he was like she was giving him head. He recorded it.
Oh jeez.
And the girl that he was cheating on with, texted, "Hey, can you send me that video?" He went to go send it, and he accidentally sent it to his wife. And he was at a red light on his motorcycle, and he said that he just immediately dropped it as soon as he saw it sent, and then saw the contact name it was under that it sent to. He said he dropped his phone and he dropped his bike in the middle of the street and walked to the sidewalk. And I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Do you go home after that? Like, or you just like, I'll come back in a week.
Yeah.
Like, but then, like, you're gonna come back and all your shit's gonna be destroyed.
Yeah. That or you just go to a hotel and go to work every day and just wait for the divorce papers,
Oh, yeah, that was. I heard that story, and then the woman that he was cheating on her with, was married to another woman, so she was cheating as well. So, yeah, that was a whole
just a big
roundabout
cheat
thing.
circle.
And
So then to make it stop, then
and
this spouse and this spouse just have to get together now.
And the wife of the girl that he was cheating with also worked for the same company I worked for.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
a whole thing.
they worked at the same location, and they had to separate them to a different location because they immediately just started the next day. I guess they were just going at it in the store, and they.
Wow. That's wild.
That's.
Yeah. No, I wasn't saying the accidental text thing. I mean, that I've done accidental texts often. I was just saying, I don't know how the talk goes with dudes that are at clubs or whatever with girls, but I don't know, it just seemed a very general line of dude, that bitch we were with so hot.
I've never.
Funny.
I thought it was funny.
It just looked like, it just seemed like just the generic, cheesy movie text. Because movie texts are always bad.
Awful.
Yeah, just never natural.
It'd be like LOL and a bunch of shorthands, and you're like, the fuck does that text even say?
Yeah. A lot of shorthand that, oftentimes I've never heard.
Yeah.
So there's a big confrontation with him and his wife. She's taking the kids out, and he's like, "Can you slow down? No, come on. Just come on." And then she's hitting him in the driveway and screaming at him and all this shit. And drives away, and he looks over the neighbors standing there like, "Morning." That's it. So if we go to the next little bit here, they explain the plan to rob the Federal Reserve amongst the crew, while the cops discuss why Nick is positive that it's Merriman's crew. Donnie gets a job at a Chinese food place that pays terribly. I pay minimum wage plus $3 for delivery, and you split the tip with me. God
It's
damn.
fucking awful.
And Nick gets served divorce papers. A couple things. That Chinese place, fuck that. The second she said,
Share the tip with me.
the share the tip with me would have done it. The $3 extra for, I guess, per delivery is what he's getting. So, I mean, whatever. But then the split the tip, and fuck you. I don't know. That just seems a little intrusive on the pay.
Split the tip.
You're already giving me minimum wage and $3 when I go out for, what's that, to cover the gas in Los Angeles, where you're going to be sitting in traffic forever, anywhere you go? Fuck all that. $3 for delivery, and I'm going to split the tip with you, and it's minimum wage. Granted, I don't know what the minimum wage in California is, but yeah.
I think it's 15 right now.
Still, inflation's crazy out there. buy a small house like mine, and it's, you know, it's like you're
$800,000.
yeah, it's like you're buying a fucking mansion in Ohio. You know, it's just me. I wouldn't work there. Would you work there?
I would
don't
never
think you'd work
live there.
Well, I'm saying, would you work in a place where the
Oh,
lady's
no,
like, once
absolutely
she's
not.
like, split tip, $3? I wouldn't know if I'd even do that here.
I don't think I'd ever work at a place where you have to survive off the tips you get anyway. Again,
I mean, you got to do what you got to do. So I mean, you know,
I'll sell my body before.
well, I mean, I just think there's better options. Like, I mean, I'd go work at McDonald's. I mean,
Yeah, but you're not
hell,
surviving.
McDonald's is trying to. I mean,
But
a
you're-
lot
but
of these
you're-
fast food places are giving you better pay than.
But you're not trying to. But like working at McDonald's or something like that, you're not trying to. You're not trying. You don't have to live off of tips.
Right.
Versus like you still work at just about any fucking restaurant, and they pay you. You have to try and live off of tips, and they pay you not minimum wage, but tip minimum wage, which
Yeah,
is
which is even lower.
in the state of Ohio. I don't know what it's at right now, but I know when I left the restaurant I worked at years ago, tip minimum wage was like $4.15 per hour plus whatever tips you got. $4.15 per hour.
That's yeah.
I found a pay when I was moving to Texas. I found a pay stub from there, and like on one paycheck, working like 37 hours, I only made like $400. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, when you look
Christ.
back at some of those high school paychecks when you were working places, you're like, God, granted you got less bills then and all that, so you know it's all relative. But you look
Yeah,
back and
goddamn.
you're like, man, I thought I was fucking killing it in high school, and this is like, nope. I mean,
Goddamn.
especially like, you know, there were times when I was working like 40 hours in high school, you know, as we were short staffed, and so literally it was like school, work, bed, school, work, bed, like every day. And so I saved a bunch of money, you know, senior year of high school, because, you know, I'm not doing anything. All I have time to do is put gas in the car to, you know, go to school and go to work the next day or whatever. So I just stacked up all this money as a teenager, thought I was fucking killing it. And then, you know, looking back, making $8 an hour, you know, working 40 hours, it's not, it's not
Yeah,
good.
I mean, where I'm at right now, like when I first started, $9 an hour is, you know, back 2015.
Oh, that was killing it.
$9 an hour,
Minimum
which
wage.
was an upgrade from the tip minimum wage at
Yeah.
the restaurant I worked at, and then when I worked in the kitchen, I got paid $8.50 an hour.
Yeah.
But like there was summer of 2015, we became really short staffed, and I was just working. I worked 34, 35 days like straight. My paychecks were nice,
Yeah.
but like my paychecks like was only like $600, $700, and like you look at that now, and I'm like, Jesus, I would not be able to survive off of that, especially not working every single day, and not having any days off.
Yeah.
Like, dude, how
Yeah.
the fuck did I survive off of that? I remember I didn't really have that many bills, and that I saved up money off of that, but I was like,
You're a kid in high school, you got gas, you got car
I
insurance.
was like, I make way more now, but make way more now, and I refuse to work fucking 6-7 days
Yeah.
in 1 week. Nope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
That place is a ripoff. And so he delivers Chinese food to these people in the Fed. Two girls that work there. The one girl you find out later is kind of in on the whole gig.
yeah.
And she was the one that didn't complain about the Chinese food
Could
when
you-
it was old. That
Oh,
dude, that old Chinese food
Man.
had to be bad. And so she's all flirting with him or whatever, and then he hides the other one. This was my only problem with like any sort of plot hole in this movie was just the ability to track Donnie doing that had to have been so easy. Like I understand, like, okay, so he walks in, he's got the 2 bags of Chinese food, he delivers the one, does the tip thing, he slips into the bathroom. I'm sure at the Federal Reserve there's cameras all over the goddamn place. There's no way there isn't.
Yeah, like the only place you can expect to talk about your camera is the bathroom, and that's for privacy. Like,
Right.
lawsuit reasons.
But when that dude walks in there with a bag, walks out without it,
There's no bag in the trash can.
and then, a couple days later on Friday, enters the building. There's no footage of him entering the building because he entered in that case of money. Got in, went through the vents, came out in that bathroom, and then all of a sudden this dude, who there's no footage of him entering the building, walks out of the bathroom with a bag of food.
Sweaty as shit.
Sweaty. And, gives them the food. That was the only, shaky part of the plan, really. Other than that, that was a very well-written plot, very well-written plan. Duh. It was good.
It worked.
It worked. But...
Would you do it?
No. That was the only part of the movie where I went... Just that little bit. That's the only part of the movie where I was tempted to be cunty.
Especially, when you went to go walk out and the front desk officer was
just like...
You didn't sign in.
Yeah, he's like, you didn't sign in. He's like, I don't know what to tell you, man. The guy at the other shift. And he's like, well, when was the shift change?
Yeah. You have to
the
know when
shift
the
change
shift
wasn't
was.
5 minutes ago, then that doesn't work out.
Plus, the dude, seems like a real, dick.
Yeah.
I think he, in real life...
There's no way that dude in real life...
He would have made a bigger deal. Dude, you didn't sign in.
Plus, it's their job to make a big deal out of it. It's the Federal fucking Reserve. So, that's an issue. Of course, I guess in that guy's head, he's sitting there at the front desk going well, he's not carrying anything. So he hasn't stolen something. But I don't know. Just there's a lot there. It's just that part of the movie. That's the only thing I got the problem with. And as you know, and if you're a listener or viewer, I'm just a cunt with everything on all these movies. But that's the only part of this one where I just go. Yeah, anyway, we'll move on. I didn't think the Nick family storyline added a lot. I'm not being cunty about it. It's just I didn't need it.
Nah.
I mean, this movie
When
could
he
have
went
been...
to go see his daughter at school on the playground.
Because the movie had nothing to do... Really didn't have anything to do with him other than he was the cop that was, investigating him. And I mean, I guess you can come from the one side of it, of, you're telling the human story, and so they're kind of trying to put both of these dudes on level playing fields of we'll see, Laveau, guy 50 Cent played, he's human, he's got a daughter, he's, they're just going to prom, he's going through anything like any parent would, scaring the date of his daughter, the prom date of his daughter, in the garage, which was a funny scene.
Which, it's all ha he he on stuff like that. We've all seen posts on social media where the prom date boyfriend goes to pick up the girlfriend at parents' house and dad greets him with a fucking gun or something
Right.
like that. It's all ha he he from the daughter's side, but if I had a son and he went to go pick up his date and he got greeted by their dad having a shotgun in his hand or a gun, I'm going to greet you with a gun too. I'm not going to play that.
A garage full of thugs. I mean, I say thugs, but I mean they've all been to jail. They're all criminals.
Yeah,
a garage full of criminals basically going sup. All fucking mag-dogging them.
Which that one was that's a little because there wasn't any threatening down. Just kind of hey, these are my friends.
Yeah.
But I was
all your dudes are fucking ripped guys that hang out in your garage,
lift out and work out and speak other languages.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing of scaring the daughter's date.
No, I think it's ridiculous. And here's the thing. Raise your daughter well.
Yeah.
And, this is where the people will go, well, you don't have a daughter, you don't get it. Okay, fine. All I'm saying is, you raise your daughter, you're not going to be able to do anything about it anyway.
No.
In a couple years, she's going to be 18, she's going to, maybe leave the house, depending on... Inflation's a crazy thing, and so are student loans, but...
Hey,
that girl's
$10,000 off.
that girl is gonna do whatever the fuck she wants
Oh, absolutely.
when you're not around. So just like the whole strict parent thing, like almost anybody I've known that's had the whole strict parent thing, they go the other way. You know, they're like, fuck that, I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to, and then they almost go, like, you gotta
You gotta have middle ground.
let go, man.
Middle ground. Still be firm and strict on certain things, like common sense things, but also be like, they're probably gonna do shit that I'm not gonna know about.
Yeah.
And like,
That's yeah.
what can you do?
You try to, I don't know.
What can you do?
Again,
Don't have a kid.
I don't have kids,
I don't have a kid either.
but
You know.
Yeah,
to anyone. To anyone that
I feel like I have an unbiased opinion here because
to anyone who has, not anyone, but like a lot of people have kids. Whenever people without kids start putting out opinions about kids, they're like, you don't have a kid, so you don't even
you need to
understand.
mind your damn business.
You need to mind your business. You don't have a kid. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I can still have opinions. I mean,
Yeah.
you have a kid now, so does that mean you can't tell me how I have to live my kidless life?
Yeah, fuck off.
Yeah, that you.
Like, hey, I was a kid once.
No, kids were.
Like, yeah. I mean, I got, I had a younger brother, 9 years younger, I understand kids. The more strict you are, the more they want to... You tell a kid, do not do this. The first thing they want to do is this.
Yep.
I mean, that's just... You kids want to... So,
Sometimes a kid just has to learn by fucking doing it. Like when I was...
Chill out. Like when you stuck a kid...
Yeah, when I was
stuck
fucking stuck my fucking mom's car keys in an electrical outlet because I wanted to pretend like I was driving a car, and shockingly, I was not driving a car.
Shockingly. Yeah, I mean, just, I don't know, relax on the whole kid thing. But, so anyway, that's what I'm saying. But the Nick story, I guess the only concept I could really throw in there is just that they're just trying to put them on that level playing field of like, well, he's a person too, and they're all people, and they're all dudes with their own problems, and he's just doing his job, and he's got all this shit going on at home. They're just trying to steal money to provide for their families, and excuse me,
I don't want to hurt anyone.
Yeah, I mean, so maybe that's what it was, but again, I feel like the movie just could have been a little shorter, and we didn't need that whole Nick
No,
family storyline. But
no, I don't think that was important.
It didn't really add much to it for me, personally.
It didn't do anything for me.
So yeah, Donnie makes the delivery. Lobo's daughter is taken to prom. Nick makes a scene. Oh yes, so that night they are all at dinner, and they happen to be. You think that's coincidence, or do you think they lined up the spot? Like, do you think the cops figured out which spot the Merriman's crew was going to somehow? I don't see how they could have unless there was reservation and they hacked a computer. But you think that was just?
I feel like that was
coincidence.
I feel like.
Or written as a coincidence, because it's obvious.
I kind of feel like that probably behind the plot, Nick was probably trailing them.
Sure.
So he might have, you might have been trailing them, saw that all of them went out to dinner there, and then he called his buddies to go out to dinner there.
Sure.
Because
I mean, they are discussing dinner though earlier before before Nick gets handed the divorce papers, and before the Laveau's daughter to prom scene happens.
that was a very awkward,
Getting served.
No, when he went to his friends to see his wife at their house, at their friend's house. That was a very
I got notes there.
Yeah,
we'll
get there.
Yeah,
that was something.
Yeah, I think that was just supposed to be written as coincidence, which is awful fucking convenient.
Yeah.
I
mean, how many fucking... Is there no more of the restaurants in the fucking town?
Yeah.
Fucking L.A. What is there? Just nothing but banks?
But maybe it was planned. I mean...
It's a bank
They just didn't do a good job of showing it if it was planned.
It's a bank every corner, no restaurants. There's one restaurant in town, the rest of it's banks, and every single one of them seem to get robbed.
Well, there's so many. It's just like,
Yeah.
we're going to look for all these guys? I mean, there's 10,290...
10,290 banks. I mean, who
robberies
cares?
a year, so I mean, come on.
Who cares?
You think we're going to solve all these things? Come on. The guy Nick makes a big scene at dinner. the guy that makes a big deal about high schools beating other high schools or just like sports teams beating other sports teams is
Someone who peaked in high school.
it's just always been ridiculous to me. Like, I'm a huge Ohio State fan, but like the whole Michigan thing. Like, I know Michigan fans. I'm not a fucking asshole every time, and they beat us last year. And that's the other thing. I hate saying us, but it slips out every once in a while. That whole thing of like, it's like us, we, that whole thing. It's like, oh, you got stake in the organization? Like, word, bro?
You played there?
I don't care. It's, I don't comment when other people do it, but that's the reason I try not to. Anyway, Ohio State lost last year. I'm not, it happens. It's sports. You're not going to be better than the other team every fucking year. And the whole shit talk. I'm just not a shit talker. I don't have an ego, really. I mean, everybody's got an ego to some extent. The people that go, I have no ego. That's ridiculous. But about things that don't affect me, things I have no control over, I really try not to have an ego about. So the guy that still gloats about his high school team beating his high school team, that's just always been ridiculous to me. I don't know. Maybe you had a comment on that, but that's always been ridiculous to me. So Donnie gets questioned by the crew because of Nick singling him out when they're at the restaurant. Donnie's saying, I'm the last person that would fuck this up. It fits the portrayal of him being just part of the crew because that's all they've really told you in the story up to this part. So it fits that, as well as then in the end when you find out what you find out, that Donnie's actually behind everything and, just basically gave Merriman all the stuff, and Merriman was like, well, if we're going to do this, it's my crew, my way. And he's like, cool. It also fits that because Donnie's like, I'm the last person to fuck this up. Like, I gave you all the information. Why would I want to do that? So it fits both there. Hindsight's 20/20, and so when you watch a movie like this that twists at the end, and then you go back and watch the thing again, and you go, oh, that makes sense. Oh, that makes a little more sense. I like that.
When they pulled into the shop or whatever, and the fucking dude was sitting there pouring the chemicals into the fucking barrel.
Yeah.
All I could think about was Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
That's all I could think. He had the fuck.
Yeah.
I was like,
they're gonna shoot him. They're gonna toss him in there. He's gonna dissolve. It's gonna be a whole thing.
Like, hey, what grade plastic is that?
Yeah. Hey, check on that.
Make sure that's the proper grade of plastic.
Did you see that did you see that episode? You gotta don't fuck around with that, man.
You don't want to go through the bathtub. It's a mess you do not want.
That show's so great. So sometimes when you think about the real deep cuts of Breaking Bad, you just go like, God, it's just a fantastic show.
Oh yeah.
So Nick barges into a dinner party with his soon-to-be ex-wife. He signs the divorce papers in front of them. Apparently, rich people are just leaving their doors unlocked. And if you've seen The Night Stalker, they must be from the Midwest.
They must be from the Midwest.
Signs the divorce paper, dude, and this is where I said dudes always get so pissed when they go cheat on their wives and then their wives move on, and for some reason that's a bigger offense. Donnie talks to the cops, says it's all going down Friday. Pissing match at the gun range. By the way, what are safety glasses for at the gun range anyway?
For gunpowder, stuff like that. So like when you do shoot, you have the shell casing that comes out, and you have gunpowder that comes out with it as well. It just helps prevent it because when you're inside, there's not a whole lot of like air movement versus like outside where wind kind of carried in different directions. Gotcha. So it kind of prevents it from maybe like going up and then going in your eyes, or if the gun happens to malfunction, the shell casing come towards your face, at least your eyes are protected, or
gotcha.
Something along the lines.
All I could think of, like, well, safety glasses aren't going to shoot if you aren't going to work if you shoot your face. That's all I could think of. But yeah, no, that makes sense.
Safety glasses and hearing protection. That's two things you got to have in a gun range.
Well, yeah. Earmuffs made sense to me.
Like it just is echoing.
Safety glasses. I've never been shooting. I don't know anything. I don't know guns. I was literally asking the question. I wasn't being a dick. All I could think of was like, it's not going to stop a bullet. So
Are
what
they
the fuck are we
bulletproof?
talking about? So figured I had to ask. You know guns a little bit,
A little bit.
sort of.
Sort of. I've killed a few people in my time.
Yeah.
Off
Robbed
the
a couple
record.
of banks off the record. Yeah.
Off the record. Also passed the statute of limitations.
So I don't know. Pissing match at the gun range. Any comments there? And just no. Okay.
How convenient that, again, same place.
Right. That's definitely not a coincidence. Like Nick was definitely going. Oh, word. He's here. I'm walking in. So Nick goes to the strip club. Goes home. Merriman's wife. There's probably a way better strategy to relay this information to Nick, right? Than just having your wife or girlfriend or whatever the hell she is to him just have sex with the cop. And can we also discuss like the mistreatment of her? Because if you go to when Donnie's giving him like talking to him about Merriman, like his girl's right. We're gonna call him his girl because I don't know if it's wife, girlfriend. They never really establish.
Well, felons aren't allowed to get married.
Okay, I don't know about this. So, what was Carlo when he gets here?
Hey, I just realized that you bought a second light.
Yeah, and I was pissed because I had a box of white light bulbs, but everything's yellow. Because I went to put the light bulb in, and so that was white and that was yellow. Excuse me. And I was like, well, fuck, I can't have one white and one yellow. That's gonna be weird as shit. I can't stop burping right now for some reason. I'm sorry. And so then I go get the box, you know, and I'm like, well, it says white, and this light bulb came out of this fucking box. So I don't know if they yellowed over time in the box or what the fuck happened. But I tried every bulb in the fucking box, and they're all yellow. So I put the white one back in the closet, and I did 2 yellow because I wasn't gonna have two
They have two different shades.
colors. So it was gonna be a whole thing.
That's too much.
Too much. So I don't know if white lights get yellowed over time in damp closets. Well, it happened to me because the first light bulb out of that box was white, and now I got yellow. So maybe it was a fuck up down at the bulb factory.
Maybe.
But just telling you the story.
I prefer white lights too.
I do too.
I don't know. It just makes it
So I was
look.
pissed.
Makes it look more like cleaner.
Yeah. So I need to go get some white lights. Just haven't done it yet. So we'll get there. Much like everything else in this room. I mean, this room's kind of like half put together. I mean, you know.
And much like everything else in this podcast, with all the sidetracking we go.
It's kind of half put together.
Yeah, half put together, half thought out.
Yeah. But she's obviously... So she's sitting right there. She's picking him up from jail.
Uh-huh.
Prison, whatever. Prison's long term, right? I don't know. I know there's a difference.
I don't know the actual.
So anyhow... Well, that's Carly. So... she's right there. She's picking him up. Right? So she's kind of ride or die. You know, she picks him up. She'll sleep with dudes that he tells her to sleep with.
Which, if that's your kink, then I mean, hey, sleep with this guy. I'm gonna go in the corner. I'm gonna jerk off and watch.
Right? You know, nothing wrong with that.
Like a cuckold kink, you know.
Yeah. I mean, and then like doesn't even say bye to her
Just gets
that
up.
morning of the heist.
He's
It's a life-threatening situation, and he gets up and he's like,
he's disgusted.
and he just gets up.
He's disgusted with her about what she did.
Yeah.
I can't believe you
Right.
fucked him.
Can't look at you. He's like, you told me, you fucking
You
whore.
disgusting whore.
You disgust me. I don't know. That just seemed like super mistreatment of her, like borderline abusive relationship. I was blown away by the mistreatment. I know I don't know. I don't know. I know she can make her own decisions, but it's just kind of like, man. I was very blown away by that.
You got a funny way of showing your love.
Yeah. And then you don't even say bye. It's like, you know good and goddamn well there's a chance you die today. You robbing like the most secure place in the world.
The bank that's never been robbed before.
In your own words. And you just like...
See you, bitch.
Not even that!
Not even that.
Not even that! That's all. So Merriman leaves the house without saying goodbye. Just crazy. She's obviously a ride or die. Whatever. Nick stops at his daughter's school to say hi through the fence, which that seemed like a whole thing to me. Just because, like, I don't know, stranger danger, that sort of thing, and it's not like he signed a sign-in sheet to talk to her through the fence. And it's just a man that walked up to the fence, unless the teachers just know him.
Yeah.
Oh, he's the guy with the truck that sometimes says hi to his daughter through the like that. No, that's a big red flag. And then the teacher's just super cool about it. No one comes over there and is like, "What's going on?" And the teacher, when recess is over and all the kids are walking in, she hasn't come yet. She's just like, "Come on, McKenna!" And she's like,
I feel like
"That's it."
I feel like a teacher would have been like, I'm gonna go over here because it's a strange
So
man.
okay, I lied. I had two problems with this movie. It was that and the Donnie thing. But yeah, that's yeah. So then it just shows both the crew and the cops are they're getting ready. And I said it's crazy that at this point there's still an hour 4 minutes left. Like we kind of blew through a lot of plot, and then all of a sudden it's just like, okay, and the climax will be, you know. So. They go in Pico Rivera and take everyone hostage. Contact the police, and they demand $10 million in a helicopter on the roof. I'm confused by why they did this. Obviously, I'm not... First time is what I mean. First time I'm going, why? I thought the Fed... Like, you're going, like, why are they at Pico Rivera? I thought... The Federal Reserve was the whole...
Was the goal. Was the end goal.
Yeah.
And
we're at this other bank for some reason. We're asking for $10 million off the roof with a helicopter. I don't know what's going on. You know? And so... All that happens. They you know, so... I think they sort of kind of hinted... They do drop some subtle stuff in this movie at different points where... the thing about them using the sewer pipes in a prior heist, you know, and then they go to Pico Rivera. So I feel like, you know, if the right person was watching this movie, they go, oh, so they're going to that bank, they're going to go down, and, you know. So they blew a hole in the bottom of the vault, got down into the sewage system, got over the Federal Reserve.
I love hostage negotiators because they're like, they said they don't want to speak to a negotiator, so I'm just going to call them and try and talk to him again.
Well, I feel like every hostage negotiator is like, I mean, at least in some, well, okay, that's not good to say, but a lot of movie hostage negotiators
They're awful.
Are like oh, I'm just your dad. I hope everybody gets home okay. You know, I just want to make sure everybody's all right in there. I feel like I've seen that a lot in movies. With the hostage negotiators.
He said, congratulations, you just killed someone.
Yeah.
And then took in the bathroom and you heard the gunshot and like...
And still the thing is...
You could have been, like, everyone, like, if you're just an average viewer, you're like, oh shit, they really just killed someone.
And you did, yeah, I was going... So wait, they turned? Because I thought they were good. And then, you know, later, Nick breaks in, goes rogue, and shows, oh, she's fine. So they kind of faked that to try to drive the point home, like they're serious. And then they just ditch Pico Rivera. They go into the Fed. Merriman and Laveau, they just disguise themselves as armored truck drivers. That's where the empty truck comes in.
They repainted it.
Repainted the whole thing, repaired everything.
They put the... So, what I picked up is, if you remember, there was that key about where they had gotten money from a previous heist, and they were soaking them in the water, and one of them had the ink.
Yes.
So what I picked up is, and obviously this was
I did forget to mention this.
This was the second time I watched it where I actually kind of picked up on that clue where the money because
I have it written down. I should have. I forgot to say
the money that they ended up dropping off was that money.
Yes, that was the
like,
money that they
didn't
built up in the case. To basically hide Donnie to make it look like a full case of money.
That didn't click to me like the first time I watched it, because the first time I watched it, like I did have a thought, I'm like, where the fuck, like
yes, I didn't get it till the second
like the
time,
armored truck obviously was not there, so they didn't load up fucking money from the bank.
Yeah.
And then the second time I watched it, I was like,
Yeah, so I didn't get it the first time, and then the second time you watch it, and he goes, "You want this?" And you're looking
want
behind your back all your life,
or you
or
want
you
swap
want
it
30
for
million
money.
clean. And the guy's like, "Let's just cut it and run." Quit while we're ahead. And he's like, "Nah, we're trading up." And then the second time you watch, you go, "Trading up, got it." So there's all that. Yeah, okay. So they make everyone believe they killed a hostage. Cops even establish they don't kill civilians, just uniforms, so you should have known, I suppose. But, first time watching, you're like, I don't know.
who knows, maybe.
So they escape through the sewers. I like what's his head on the phone, Mac. Yeah, Mac. Just the Alan Alameda. Of course, it's Alan Alameda. The crew leave the FBI Peak Rivera, take off for the Fed. So then the whole thing that happens in the Fed is obviously everything, and this is the other reason why the whole Donnie thing I thought didn't work. But there's cameras, there's motion sensors, there's everything, and Donnie's got an EMP, and then when the EMP is fucking up cameras and everything, even then they go, hold on, something's goofy in there, we gotta go in there. So, I feel like the vent thing just doesn't work, that's all I'm saying. But he brings an EMP in there, fucks up the cameras, fucks up the motion. He climbs out of the crate, he takes all the money that's supposed to be disposed of,
Drops it down
throws
the
in
trash
bags,
chute.
throws in the trash chute, and
There's the EMP down there.
throws the EMP, shuts everything up, and then he's got to hurry. And he's got to get his ass in this little vent.
He got in that motherfucker quick, which I don't think is realistic.
Okay, so there's probably three things. Okay, we'll do it as two.
Okay.
Because let's just say the whole Donnie and the Fed thing is rolled into one. With the food and the bag and getting in the vent and yada, yada, yada. My thing is, he's going in there head first when they show him. Because they go, you gotta get out of there, you gotta get out of there. He shuts everything up, throws money down. He opens the vents. He's going in head first. But then,
How does he?
there's no way you turn around in that vent, man. You'd have to crawl down to that corner, and then maybe you got enough room to, turn around down there. And since when what is all this HVAC stuff so huge?
You know how claustrophobic I would be trying to fucking
Oh
crawl?
my god, dude.
And then I don't know, especially you just have sometimes you just have a fucking straight drop down. If you're crawling this way, you're dropping head
You
first.
just go, what?
And then what?
I'm just saying,
What if
there's
you
no
get
way he had the time to turn around in there. You got to go in there feet first if you want to shut that. And then you're crawling through that vent backwards.
Until you get to the fucking.
So you get to a turn, then maybe you can do the... Okay. But...
that just makes me I couldn't do that. That makes me think of when I used to go to Magic Mountain and Chuck E. Cheese and shit like that when I was a kid, and I'd be in that fucking little tube thing,
Yeah.
and there's always that fucking asshole kid that would just block, that would just stop, and then it'd be you get the flow of traffic going through that thing.
And then
Everyone's
there's
going
some
the same
other
direction.
asshole back here. He's kind of,
So you got that one asshole kid that just fucking stops, and then you have all these kids that are just coming up because there's a flow of traffic.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden you have 10 kids in one 5-foot section tube, and you're like, please fucking move because I'm going to have a panic
And
attack.
the kid that just makes you crawl past him, and you're like, oh, come on.
He's just sitting there and I'm like, I'm going to have a fucking panic. I'm 7 years old. I'm going to have a fucking panic attack.
Do that? Yeah, those...
It's so hot in here now.
Yeah.
There's so much body heat.
How are those tubes?
And you're not even towards
What's up?
What up? You're not even towards you're at the top, so you still have to find a way to get back down.
Yeah. They needed
Awful. Awful.
emergency hatches for when... What's up, man?
What's up, buddy?
What's up, buddy? What's up, buddies?
Hey, you're drinking a Budweiser.
Yeah, I brought a 12-pack, man.
Brought to you by
Budweiser.
Coca-Cola and Budweiser.
Yeah. You
Welcome
can't
to the-
keep it more
And
American.
Trident.
Welcome to the
And that.
Budweiser studio.
Budweiser Studios.
I also brought my Game of Thrones shirt, dude.
Nice.
To celebrate the House of Dragons, which I've not watched and probably won't watch, but, thought it was fitting,
There you go.
So,
All this time, I didn't even know it was a Game of Thrones shirt. I just thought it was some dragon thing.
No, it's. I
would
mean,
always
like,
wear?
yeah, it kind of just looks like some, like, kind of nerdy, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not gonna get me any pussy or anything like that.
I mean,
Sure.
I
but
the
no,
nerds.
it's
Depends on the pussy. right?
Daenerys Targaryen. She like, you know, I was like, I want to go home. That's where she was born or something. I don't fucking know. It's
Nice.
It's a big thing.
Big thing.
So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, man.
No,
what
it's
did
all
we watch
good.
this week?
Den of Thieves.
Den of Thieves.
Yeah.
I thought you said Sea of Thieves on the
No.
phone, which was like a video game.
Oh,
and
okay.
It doesn't have any story.
I think I've heard of that.
It's just like you're a pirate. So it's like I was like, are you really doing a whole podcast on like a Minecraft game? But
Well, yeah, absolutely.
like next episode of Minecraft.
Exactly.
We play Minecraft for 3 hours, and you just listen to us.
I'll try to just throw little like witticisms around, but
Sure.
you guys do your thing, so I'll kind of just listen.
Yeah, we're nearing the end. So
Okay, cool.
So Donnie gets questioned after delivering the food to the ladies because he didn't check in. The guy had bad judgment. We kind of talked about that already. Unless they actually did just change shifts, which, again, we don't know. We have no way of knowing. Just leave that alone. He almost gets caught because the lady who isn't in on it wants to complain about the quality of the food because, after all, it is 2-day-old Chinese food that's been sitting in an air vent.
Oh, yeah. Now, I don't even want to know what that would taste like.
I mean, all the preservatives, it might actually be all right. That's probably why the lady who's in on it was just kind of like, "Oh, you're being ridiculous," or whatever the hell she said.
Yeah,
But
it's probably still good.
it's probably fine with all that sodium, right? Probably preserved it a little.
Yeah.
I mean, all it is
General
just-
So's, I mean, unless there's mold on it, you're good.
I mean, all
it
that
could
is
be like
just
100 degrees for like 3 days.
deep fried cat, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then Bosco, he robs, hijacks, whatever you want to say. He robs a trash truck with all the shreds in it. One thing I don't know what happened here is, okay, so they all the stuff, they're in the Suburban, they're driving away. They're running. And then everybody gets caught in traffic. That's the climax of this, of like, oh, fuck! You know, everything comes to a head, and then the cops are like, fuck it! And they all put their vests on, they get out, and they're just walking up in the flow of traffic.
Could you imagine me sitting in traffic? And
I have the same note you're about to say, but go
like,
ahead.
you sit in traffic and all of a sudden you just hear, Sheriff's Department, get down. You're like, what?
Yeah, he's like,
what?
hey, get behind the engine block. And you're like,
What?
where's the engine block? You know, like somebody doesn't know anything.
Get behind the engine block. I'm in a fucking Tesla.
Or like some asshole in a Porsche is like,
Like-
you mean I gotta get out of the car?
You mean I gotta go back there?
Yeah. Yeah. That would be fucking terrifying. Cop rolling up on your car. Hey.
And you're like fully like already like,
Yeah, they got the gun in their hand. Like, wait, who's the bad guy here?
and then like, I love how after the first shot, then everyone just like did not listen to what the sheriff said, and everyone just started getting out of the car.
Everybody,
and start-
scatter!
And then like they have this shot where they start kind of going closer to each other, and you see all the cars are just empty.
Yeah.
Every single one of them's empty.
Yeah, no one's dead.
Everyone's like, I ain't fucking staying here.
like-
I'm going this way.
Fuck this. I don't know what an engine
Like-
block is.
They're obviously trying to kill you, not me, so I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I have insurance.
I have insurance.
Insurance.
So they get stopped in traffic after Donnie gets the information beat out of him, which is
Yeah. Like, beat out of them.
hardcore is rough. They leave Donnie cuffed to the vehicle, and then all the shooting's going on, which is just fucked up. You know, all these bullets are flying around. He's just cuffed to the ceiling.
Maybe.
Yeah. Can you imagine being stopped in traffic? Cops. What if you drive a Porsche? All things I had written down. All of Merriman's crew slowly get mowed down. A couple of the cops get mowed down. If you're telling me out of shape Nick was going to catch up with Merriman, who works out like a madman, you're fucking crazy. Nick shoots Merriman through some sheet metal after he jumps to the other side, and I was like, God damn it, I hate it when the good guy wins. Like in heist movies, I don't like it when the good guy wins, which they kind of, with the way Nick's behaving, they kind of establish him as sort of the bad guy. They almost establish the cops as the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, in a heist movie, I'm like, fuck the government and their money.
Yeah,
So
fuck the government, cops.
I just want the heist guy. It's a heist movie. I want the heist guy to win.
Yeah,
typically. You know,
sure.
the
For
town,
sure. Every time.
that kind of stuff.
Not to go off topic, but what is that movie?
Not to go off topic, but
I don't know.
I'm gonna go off topic.
No, it's like they're Irish and in Boston. I think it's
The Town. Yeah.
Is
The Town.
Is that the town?
Yeah. Ben
Okay,
Affleck
the guy
and Jeremy
thing?
Renner.
Yeah,
Most of them died.
yeah,
Ben
okay.
Affleck somehow
I
gets away.
like how they do it there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like tragedy. You know what I mean? It's going back to Game of Thrones shirt. You know what I mean? Like, just kill people off and it's so much more tragic.
Guys,
you know what I mean?
I'm wearing a Game of Thrones shirt.
So season 1 of Game of Thrones.
Well, I mean, that was kind of the same.
So, you said
Lord.
you said Game of Thrones. Well, so do you know what happened in Game of Thrones?
No idea.
a lot of people died. Right?
That's what I heard, yeah.
There was a
died-
game and there was a throne, but there was more than one throne. It was thrones.
They died tragically, right? So,
Right.
like in the town, they died so tragically that it was like, oh man.
And throne is like a chair, but like more important.
I'm so emotionally attached to these characters
Yeah.
when they die tragically. I don't care if they're bad or good.
Right.
You know, I don't want to see them die tragically. You know, get gunned down or stabbed or shot with a crossbow while taking a shit.
You know,
We'll move on.
You know the game. Both of you just lost it. So
You know what's
Hold for
crazy?
that
I
down.
smoked so much weed that I didn't remember for like 3 seconds what the fuck you were talking about.
So they have their little final standoff, but Merriman has no ammo left. He just baits him into finishing him off. He says, "Told you," as he dies, in reference to telling him earlier he is not cuffing up.
Why
Go ahead.
that scene right there. Why does it seem like for a minute that Nick was kind of upset that he's dead? Because maybe he was like, well, "Fuck, well, now what do I have to do? I don't get to fucking chase him anymore." He just kind of like his body language is kind of like, "Oh, I don't want you to die. I want to continue chasing you."
Kind of seems like the villain that doesn't want to win.
Yeah.
You know, wants to not get caught, but doesn't want to win. You know, Joker always wants to keep fucking around with Batman, that kind of thing. You know.
I just for a second it kind of seemed like he was kind of like a little upset that now he's.
It did. Also, I mean, it's not a great look because Merriman had no bullets.
And
And there's not going to be any, you know, in this general vicinity. And he definitely gunned the dude down, and he's got no bullets in his gun, so that probably... It may create an issue for him, I don't know.
yeah, I mean, we know he'll get off.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
Corrupt cop.
He's a white cop in
Corrupt
LA.
white cop in L.A.
He's good.
Where,
Oh yeah, he's
where
got some-
apparently 10,000
10,000
robberies happen in,
every year in
every year.
banks.
10,000
I'm
bank
taking
robberies.
vacation this week. And the first week of August.
I think I'm gonna take a vacation. You mean paid
Internal
you
Affairs wants to talk to you. No.
I'm taking vacation.
You mean well, that's vacation? That's a funny way to say you're on paid administrative leave. Vacation. Okay, vacation.
Yeah.
Internal Affairs wants to talk to me.
I'm taking
Not
2
while
years
I'm
off.
in fucking Mar-a-Lago.
I'm taking 2 years off, okay? Paid administrative leave, vacation, whatever you want to call it.
Corruption.
Corruption, we love it. Again, like I said, I thought this was the end, and I hated it because I like the bad guys to win in a heist movie. I don't like Nick. I didn't want him to win, and he didn't. Because all they left in the Suburban was shreds. This is what I was starting to get to when I started the whole fighting traffic thing. I got in the traffic thing. All that was in the Suburban was shreds. There were black bags. The cash was in the black bags. So then I go, wait, were there more black bags? Did Donnie have spare black bags? Where did the black bags go?
And then, like, at my point on my thought process, I thought back to the 2 garbage trucks to pass at the intersection.
Sure.
I was like,
And I can't figure out who that one guy is. Like, who's that old dude that's in the
Yeah.
other one?
Yeah.
Is he in on it? Did he take the money somewhere else? And then they all meet up at the junkyard, so then maybe the Suburban just had the fake cash in it in case they found the Suburban. Was that the plan all along? They don't really clue you in on what the process was. Donnie's just gone. Bags are still in the trunk. All it is shreds. And,
he said, build fucking snow globes.
yeah. It's Nick's big joke. Like, I'm just going to make a bunch of fucking snow globes.
10,000 of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
One for every bank robbery.
There you go. FBI guy has a conversation with Nick. Says everything at the Fed's accounted for. Nick is confused. Spends some time thinking about it. Goes to Ziggy's Hofbrau looking for Donnie. Ziggy says he quit 2 days ago. You want a beer? Very much so. Like 50 of them. Or like, however he said it. The girl fetches him a beer. Nick starts looking around the bar. Dudes from the Fed walk in. They're talking. Picture of Donnie on a soccer team on the wall. Thinks about when Donnie says, I'm in complete control of my environment. People don't even know.
Which, did you notice the 2 dudes from the Fed that walked in were the ones that were in that room counting the money?
Yeah. Thinks about when Donnie's... Oh, sorry, I read that. Nick walks outside. Sees the Fed right across the street from the bar. How'd you not make that connection before? Obviously, stares, and then he says, "Fucking Fraulein." So then we cut to Donnie in London. He's working in a bar across from a diamond exchange
with this fucking British accent.
He's grown a beard. He's looking a little cleaner. He's got a British accent going on. He's a con man. You find out right away because the guy says, "I don't know, surprise me." He's like, I can do that. Which I can't do. But everything for me either turns to fucking Australian or Spanish when I try to do an accent eventually. If I do Sean Connery long enough, I'll be a Mexican in like 2 minutes.
Give me a fucking martini, Holmes.
So then flashback to after Donnie and Merriman have that drive. By the way, what I wanted to mention, forgot to mention this. So Donnie takes Merriman on that big test drive because he's like, oh, I can drive. And then he takes him on this wild trip, sliding through like semis, doing all this shit, right? And then it never comes up, like a scenario with Donnie driving never comes up again. It's just like, he can drive. And then, okay, he can drive. And Laveau has a daughter that went to prom. Like, it's just, this is information I don't give a fuck about. Yeah. I mean, so the other stuff is setting the scene of like, these guys are human, like that sort of thing. Nick and his divorce and Laveau and his daughter, all that shit. But then the driving thing, I thought had to be essential to the plot and the heist thing.
Obviously, he doesn't have a family that they can reference, so they reference his skills.
Okay.
Everyone else had a family got referenced. You had, Nick has a wife that is divorcing him, and,
driving's his family.
Laveau has a fucking daughter going to prom.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Maybe it's just his passion, his talent. I haven't seen the movie, but just to play devil's advocate a bit.
Ray fucking pimps out his wife.
Right? Yeah.
And he has, then, Donnie has driving.
That's their thing, That's their thing. They like to...
The other guy's Samoan?
The other guy...
That's all you need to know, he's Samoan?
It's like, that's my thing, man. I'm Samoan.
Alright, we'll leave that one alone.
So, yeah. Donnie says, Merriman's asking why. He's saying you're the only guy that can pull this kind of a job, pull it off. Merriman says it has to be his way with his crew, and Donnie agrees. Donnie acquiring, it shows Donnie acquiring all the stuff from working across the street, the bar across the street from the Fed over time. The drawn out maps, the, ID cards, all that kind of shit. Which he didn't really use any ID cards, he just kind of crawled through vents.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Well, at one point he did use the ID card, and when he crawled through the vents to get in there, he used an ID card he got into somewhere. I forget where though.
Okay.
To get in the elevator.
Oh, okay.
He used it to get in the elevator.
All right.
I guess maybe it was, I don't know, maybe his visitor pass expired and he couldn't tap it to get in the elevator or something. I don't.
Oh, it's what he had to do to get through the building when he snuck in through the vents. Gave that bad food to them. Yeah, he has no way of... Yeah, okay. Yep. Makes sense. It's all coming together. So, back to the bar in London. The girl from the Fed that didn't complain, she's sitting at the bar along with Mac and Bass, the guy that drove the trash truck. I didn't know that guy's name was Bass. That guy's never introduced. It just said his name was Bass in the cast list.
I didn't know it was fucking Bass.
That guy is never introduced, and then he's just driving a cast truck. I'm sure there's some deleted scenes with that guy.
This is his whole world in the movie.
And then going, yeah, take it, no problem.
He got a name?
Yeah, in the fucking cast list.
Wow.
So there's some deleted scenes somewhere with that guy for sure. Like he
Oh,
definitely
he's got
had
a
a
whole monologue.
huge role in that movie. And then it was like, we need to cut this for time. He's like,
It wasn't really a 4-hour movie. Half of it was based upon Bass.
Yeah.
So the guy asking for the drink, he asks if the guy works at the diamond exchange across the street. The guy says, yeah, and he says, beer's on me. Movie ends.
We know what he's going for next. Maybe
Kind of leaves it open for a sequel,
you know.
and that's my question is, would you like to see a
No.
sequel to this? I would not.
no. It's already played out. We already know. There's a plot.
You're just going to do the same thing
there
again,
was a plot,
just different
The whole
version.
thing that made the movie made it a little bit better, better for me, was the plot twist at the end.
Yes.
They're like, oh, well, fuck.
Other than that, this is just a standard
Standard heist movie.
movie, and it loses its charm the second time you watch it because there's no surprise. And so, the first time watch with stuff like that's really exciting most of the time because you go, oh fuck, what? That you hit that point of oh man. Obviously, I'm not sitting there alone going, what? I'm just expressing it. We're on a podcast, okay?
Whoa! What?
What happened?
No way!
Your wife's,
I haven't watched
your
the
wife's in
movie
the other
ever.
room. Shut the
fuck up. Every time you watch a movie with a plot twist. God.
Whoa! God, he's so mystical when he watches movies. Look, he's just, whoa.
But, yeah, so it does kind of suck because you like the movie, but then, that second time you just go, yeah. There it is.
Legend has it on the DVD version, on the special scenes, you get to watch Nick and his wife go to divorce court.
Nice. And Bass is
Bass is the judge. Bass is the judge. The plaintiff is in. Or what?
You get you get to go along and see the prom as well.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I said was what would the second one be? Because, as I've said, I feel like it wouldn't be that hard to find Donnie. Or prove that Donnie did some shady shit. You probably don't prove that he's guilty 100%, but you at least prove that he's done something. Because cameras in the Fed and the way he sneaks in and all that shit. So, what's the sequel? Is he just coming back to America, balling out with all this money, and then he just gets put in handcuffs, and then he's got to go to court? And that's the sequel?
So, you got to follow the plot line of the ... has fallen, to where Gerard Butler's character, Nick, goes to London and sees him there, and he's like...
For whatever reason, he's transferred there and tries to catch the heist there, and then it just becomes like Oceans at a certain point. And then Oceans 13 is it's just like the NBA All-Star Game where it's like, okay, let's all do some cool shit, but let's try not to get hurt, This is just for fun.
Like I said, they follow in the footsteps of the ... has fallen. You have, London has fallen, and it takes place in...
I'd like to see kind of like a spin-off of the ... has fallen series where it's just some random island in the Pacific. And then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just all these Pacific Islanders fucking up some terrorists. I don't know.
Or the economy's just in the shitter and they're all just
They're fucking running out of wood.
Honolulu isn't what it used to be, man. The economy's really suffering.
Yeah, dude. This is them dealing with bills.
Gotta pay back
budgets. One couple doesn't have sex enough anymore. They're just this.
These times are taking a toll on our relationship. Too much goddamn overhead. This summer. You know what I mean? Man. I don't know you anymore. This summer.
Wakakiki has fallen.
Yeah, Wakakiki.
The water bills due!
Living on an island in the middle of the Pacific is fucking expensive.
But
the price of milk is too goddamn high!
There's no cows on this island.
Every single...
We don't have any beef!
But every single movie has to have Gerard Butler in it doing something as the main character.
He just happens to be there. He's buying a milkshake at a stand.
They're complaining about bills, and
there's some scientists just fucking freaking out tomorrow it's happening. If we're running out of milk. Oh man, that's the story.
And he just tips the guy. Thanks for dinner, man.
They're complaining about bills and stuff like that. Here comes Gerard Butler, a fucking accountant.
Man, dude. I see this movie being the day after tomorrow, but with milk and Pacific Islanders. That sounds kind of cool. You know what I mean? They're there's no cows on this island. They're don't worry about it. We're getting a lot of milk coming in. And there's this weird like scientist or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he's like, guys,
He's just got equations.
yeah, he's like, I've done the
we're gonna
math.
have milk tomorrow.
It's fucked. Like,
Yeah.
It's bad math.
We're not getting any imports.
There's like a bunch of fucking tribe leaders and shit. They're like, fuck you.
Yeah.
They're like, we got plenty of milk, dog.
We're drinking pig milk now. It's cool.
Yeah.
Get with the times.
It's cool, man. We're drinking pig milk, man. Hey, I drank turkey milk the other day, man.
Get your
That's
own-
crazy, man.
Get your own goddamn pig
Yeah,
milk.
man. We're drinking chicken milk these days, man. Anyway, sorry, I'm gonna interrupt.
So Dakota, what'd you rate this movie?
I give it a 7.3.
Yep.
7.3.
It was 7.5. I like the twist. Obviously, you know, the shine's not there the second time, but I do like those movies with the twist where you go back the second time and
What the twist?
you go, oh, this makes sense. Oh, that makes sense. You know, that kind of thing. And it's well written. Like I said, the only thing I didn't like is the Donnie thing, and what was the other hole I had a problem with? Oh, I had a problem with something else, but it doesn't matter now. Yeah, it's decent. I tell people to watch it. It's a good experience.
Solid C.
It's a great experience. First time. Second time, it's still good watching. Second time, but when you know the ending and you're like, I know what's going to happen. But then you can kind of really pick it apart and see all the context clues that happen throughout the movie, all the foreshadowing of what's, the plot twist that you
What's to come?
didn't think of because you were too naive to think that, well, this guy's just a fucking loser.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, this has been Den of Thieves on Content Crisis.
What we got coming up next, Tyler?
I don't know.
We got-
Well, we have a Bond movie Wednesday. I don't know where we are in the Bond series at this point. I'd have to get out the list. And then your second choice,
We got
Four
Four Brothers coming up next.
Four Brothers. coming
Four
up
Brothers.
I just looked at it, man. I'm pretty sure we just had Thunderball just came out. I'm pretty sure. Thunderball just came out.
Well, yeah, but that's September.
Oh,
So this is for...
I'm so sorry.
Oh, well, great. Now we're going to be copywritten.
Damn,
We're getting sued.
We have to cut that part out. My bad.
Yeah, this is in November, though. So.
Oh, okay, sorry about that. Then.
That's all.
Let me go ahead. We'll just redact everything.
Just
every
redact
bit, every
Harvey's
bit with
appearance.
every bit
Just
with me in
blur
here.
him out for the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah.
He's just this like...
I was not here. I was not here.
All right, thanks for listening. You can catch us on the Spotify, the Apple Podcasts, wherever you get them. Content Crisis on YouTube.
Don't
Subscribe
forget
to our channel.
Like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell icon. That way you get notified when new videos come out. It really does help the channel. Seriously, please. Love you. Thank you.
Heyo.
And email us at contentcrisishotline@yahoo.com. Follow us at Content Crisis 1 on Twitter. And yeah, thanks guys.